All right. Here we go, back again on the other side of the coin. All right, we are back again on the other side of the coin, ladies and gentlemen. It's another match preview. These games are going to come thick and fast now in this particular next few weeks. Quite a lot of games. There's obviously Premier League. Now Champions League is kicking off. Then there's the Carabao Cup. It's going to be madness, but we love it. We love it here. The journey for the Champions League begins again. It's such a fantastic. I mean, this is a historical competition. We all know that. But the glory and the enjoyment it gave us last season for winning it. It's so good to be back in this competition and have this competition up and running. So we're definitely going to, obviously, we're going to talk about the match preview and talk about a whole heap of things leading up to this game. But as always, the live chat, nearly 30 of you guys are live after literally 58 seconds. Smash the like button. The Coin Gang, the Coin family, Tumo CLA. There you go, Coin Gang. You remember, you guys are here on a daily basis. Honestly, we're doing it in a different time today, much later on, UK time, early Sydney time. So I'm hoping to catch some new fans as well, which is going to be fantastic. Smash the like button. Let's keep up with the likes straight away. 40 live right now. Get those likes up to 40 straight away. It helps the channel massively. I cannot reiterate it enough. And if you're here for the first time, subscribe. But first of all, Taron, my boy, how you doing?
Yeah, excellent. I'm so excited to be back at the bridge tomorrow, especially for the game. I don't know if I've announced that, but it's been announced now. Back at the bridge for the first time since I believe I went to the Valencia game in the Champions League. Really, really painful that game. So I'm really happy to be back, and it feels good being the champions of Europe, going into the competition, not fearing anyone. People so excited to play against the holders of the competition. So yeah, really excited to go to the game. Really excited to watch Chelsea v Zenit, and I think Zenit is a very underrated team. It could be a banana peel. We'll get into that a bit later, but they've been looking really good recently. So yeah, really excited for the competition.
Brilliant. Declan in Ireland is saying, we've been here for 2 hours. I hope I got the time right. I'm pretty sure I had it for UK 9 p.m. I truly apologize if that's not the case. I'm pretty sure I had it for UK 9 p.m. I don't know why you've been waiting for 2 hours, but nonetheless, thank you so much for the effort. But yeah, Taron, ladies and gentlemen, will be in the Zenit game. This is the new thing that we as a group that run this particular, trying to bring the content for you guys on a regular sort of stages for you guys. We're blessed that the channel is now capable of paying for some of these tickets that Taron and Johnathan are going to the matches for, and we can bring you those images and hoping to bring the wider community, the global community, the Chelsea fans out there much closer with these exclusive footages from the stadium. So yeah, Taron's going to be in the Zenit game. Do look out for that. It's going to be amazing. Tomorrow, once again, whole heap of streams coming up, pre-match, an hour before the match starts. We're going to start discussing the lineups, and Taron and Johnathan will be at the stadium. So it'll be fantastic to see from their point of view as well. Then we're going to have the watch along where Ishan will jump in. Ishan will be there for the pre-match as well. And then obviously post-match where Johnathan and Taron will be there with their perspective. Hopefully we get some fans' perspective as well outside of the bridge. But as always, 50 of you guys are live. Smash the like button, as I've said. I'm going to do a quick shout out before we start. Declan in Ireland, obviously, thank you so much for joining, my man. Dita, really, really good to see you as well in the live chat. You're one of the true supporters from a very, very long time. Nathan, thank you so much for joining. Justin, thank you so much for joining. CFC Stephen, Tumo, as we've said. Adas from Periscope. I've mentioned this before. This is now across 3 platforms, not just in YouTube, Periscope through Twitter, and also Facebook page group as well. So we are live across all sorts of platforms. We've got Victor. Thank you so much, my man Victor, for joining. Tiz, it's amazing to have so many of you guys. This is brilliant. Okay, let's get straight into it. Taron, we're going to talk about the press conference first up a little bit. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, Johnathan hopefully will be joining very soon. He's meant to be here, so hopefully he'll be here soon. Taron, let's talk about the press conference. I always like to start from there and then work ourselves into the thicker parts of the preview. One of the key things, we'll talk about the injuries and whatnot down the track, but one of the things which I thought was a brilliant question, I can't remember which journalist it was, they talked about Ben Chilwell. What's going on with Ben Chilwell? Is he going to get a start? He hasn't played. I think it was Matt Law. Really, really good question from Matt Law. And of course, the fan bases have been a bit weirded out by the whole situation, thinking, what's going on? I mean, has something happened? Is he out of favor? And I loved the way, the detailed explanation Thomas Tuchel provided. And this is a message for the fan base as well. Nearly 60 of you guys are live. Don't jump into conclusion. That's why I haven't jumped into conclusion about Ben Chilwell. The answer that Thomas Tuchel gave was a lot to do with the mental draining. Like Ben Chilwell going away, having such a high with us last season, winning the Champions League and being the number one left wing back for the team. He then got the opportunity to go for Euros, which he was buzzing, and he thought probably he will get some opportunity, but he didn't, Taron. And that apparently affected him when he came back mentally. He wasn't feeling well. It took him a little bit of time to find the rhythm back. He wasn't enjoying life as he normally did. He wasn't enjoying football. I mean, Taron, how important is it to realize that these are real issues in football?
People often think football is a robot due to how much they're paid, and people often say, you should be dealing with this, you're getting paid this amount of number per week, you should be able to deal with any issue that faces your way. But these people are humans too. We can't forget they have feelings. They know they have a really, really strong personal lives with family issues, stuff like that. A lot of different players like Jesse Lingard, a lot of other players have struggled with serious issues in the past and have dealt with stuff like this. And Ben Chilwell especially, sorry about that motorbike, after such a strong season with Chelsea, he did have a difficult start, but he broke in. It was key to the Champions League final win. Man marking Riyad Mahrez, getting him after the game. And then to be dropped for the whole Euros campaign, not even being playing, I believe, even a minute, even though Luke Shaw was superb. It must be really, really disheartening to have to deal with all of that. And though sitting on the bench and having that massive holiday, despite, not even playing a minute, being on the bench, watching the team do so well on the pitch, winning against countless man teams, reaching the final, and then feeling you weren't really a part of it despite your great season. Yeah, any player will feel like they felt like they were left out from that campaign. They felt that their match sharpness
100%.
really dropped down. They could have been back with the team training. They could have been in pre-season with Thomas Tuchel, but instead he was just kind of there with the England team, not really getting prepared for the next season, losing his match sharpness, stuff like that. So I really like how Tuchel's addressed that, honestly. I mean, fans were definitely wondering why Chilwell hasn't featured this, after so many games, but he came out and said, this is the thing, this has happened, that's happened, but we're going to move on from that now. We believe that, I think he will start against Zenit personally. He can build up his fitness now. He looks quite good physically and he looks quite mentally stronger now. So I think what I see from Chilwell, he looks like he can bounce back from this very well. He looks like a very happy guy, a very mentally strong guy. So I have no doubts personally that this will affect the season. I think similar, I believe, someone said on this channel before that, when Tuchel first came in, he started with Marcus Alonso and Chilwell kind of was embedded into the team. And then he became a mainstay after that Sevilla game away in Bucharest or wherever it was. So, I think he will definitely come back in very, very soon. But I really like, honestly, our manager is so honest and isn't really lying to all these journalists and stuff.
Yeah, man, it was so good to hear the real stuff behind. And it gave a really good perspective and a reality check that don't just jump into conclusion. There are other factors that we have no idea about, which is so important to understand from the back of it. And you know what? Come to think of it, you're right. Maybe he will start. I'm hoping he will start because Thomas Tuchel was saying he's back in the race again. He's feeling better. He's mentally feeling a lot stronger and he's back into it. And, I'm hoping that he will probably start. But I can also understand, Taron, that it's okay. Take your time. Relax. Alonso on the other side, just quickly, Taron, he's not been bad. He's been very, very decent, strong performances, maybe just one or two lapses here and there, but that's fine. That can happen to any players out there. It's been a big difference from what he was doing a few seasons back, where there was mistakes after mistakes, to this season, where he's been very, very compact, very, very assured. So Ben Chilwell, it's very important. Get yourself mentally right. And then, it's not like we don't have someone behind. So, I mean, from your perspective as well, Taron, I feel like sometimes Alonso, he doesn't tend to get the praise that he should because of the precedent that he's had. I feel like just forget about the past. Just look at his last few games and he's been doing well. just back the guy, man. Show some appreciation. I find that very strange that sometimes he doesn't get that.
Well, he is our captain after all, so we probably should appreciate our captain. But that's the next John Terry, some people have been saying. But, definitely the start to the season, he's been faultless, in my opinion. Maybe the Aston Villa game, in my opinion, watching, he was quite, lethargic, quite poor. He looked like he played too many games recently. And yeah, that's kind of how I feel. That's why I think Chilwell will come back in, be embedded now. But I don't get why people aren't backing him. I don't quite understand. Is it because he's slow? Is it because he's not a flair player? Is it because he's not a box-to-box kind of player? But if you kind of watch Alonso, he's so clever, opening spaces up, making late runs into the box. And people realize he never loses the ball. If you pass Marcos Alonso, 90% of the time he's going to retain possession. He's going to win a foul. He's so good on both feet that, that goes right under the radar. But like I said before, he's been really good towards the start of the season. He had a whole preseason with Thomas Tuchel, while, like we mentioned before, Chilwell was wasting his time, in my opinion, in the England camp. So yeah, Alonso's had the whole preseason to get in Thomas Tuchel's good works. Understand, all the pressing and stuff that Tuchel did in preseason, but the way I think of it, Chilwell is going to be embedded. He is going to start in the Zenit game. He'll start to play more and more games now in the near future. And I'm not taking away anything from Alonso. He's had a great start to the season, but obviously I prefer Chilwell in that position. I think he really adapted well late on towards the end of last season. Look in the Champions League final. How good was he against Riyad Mahrez? He was so good in a lot of the big games. The Liverpool game away from home, he was amazing against Trent Alexander-Arnold. So I think he will come back in, but Alonso's has had a near perfect start to the season. And if Chilwell ever dips in form again, he ever gets injured, I have no fear that we have a backup like Alonso. He's going to have them clutch moments, who's great on the ball, who's great as a left wing back. Tuchel always mentions that's Alonso's position. He was world class in that position in the Kante days. So I'm really happy that Chilwell is going to be embedded now, but Alonso is always there when we need him, and he's always going to step up because he is our captain.
That captaincy, man. I don't know what happened there, but it is what it is. Let's talk about the next part in this press conference. A couple more, points to touch on before we talk about the injury front. Thomas Tuchel was asked about the three players, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Malang Sarr, and Ross Barkley, now registered part of the Premier League and also part of the Champions League as well. And he was asked that, are you going to utilize them? Obviously, they're not part of your whole setup. What's going on? How do you keep them motivated? I found that very, very interesting question as well, because it will be difficult, because I personally, Taron, I can't see them really starting any of the games. I feel like they were put down to go on loans, but for some reason it didn't work out. Whether the players didn't accept it, this is what Thomas Tuchel was saying, whether they didn't accept personal terms or they didn't get the right sort of opportunities that came to them. It is difficult, isn't it, Taron? Now moving into the Champions League stage where there is 5 substitutions, you can have 12 people in the subs. So Thomas Tuchel could possibly use them. And I love the way Thomas Tuchel said that, forget the whole transfer window, you're now here and you're now a Chelsea player, and you've got to focus and you've got to give it your best every single day. But Taron, how difficult is it going to be for players like Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Ross Barkley, and Malang Sarr, where they're probably not going to see enough minutes?
Yeah, what I will say is that, I like how Tuchel addressed that they are Chelsea players. He hasn't pushed them to the side. If they perform well in training, they do well. There was talk by Adam Newson and a few other people that in that development game in the international break, Ruben Loftus-Cheek and Barkley were really good. And they did impress, hence why they were both on the bench for the Villa game. They performed really well. So, obviously the Saúl Ñíguez transfer has kind of affected, especially Loftus-Cheek, in my opinion, who really had a chance as a fourth midfielder to have any game time. But, they're not on loan. They don't want to be playing in the development squad the whole of this until the January period. Every time they're with Tuchel in training, they have to be 100%. They have to turn his eye. They have to make him want to put him onto the bench again. And yeah, I think being on the bench for Aston Villa game was maybe, I'd say, a really good thing for both of them. They think they might have a chance now. In the Zenit game, like you said, there is 5 subs. So maybe if we're winning 3-0 or something in the last 10 minutes or so, they could get a chance and they could impress. But from what I saw in the preseason, I think Malang Sarr, made a crucial error in the Tottenham game. He wasn't that great, in my opinion. Barkley, I didn't really realize he was playing most of the time. Loftus-Cheek was good, but we mentioned he wasn't mind-blowing. He just looked like still he's recovering from that injury that he suffered, that really, really serious Achilles injury. So the thing I see about it now, they might have a chance, but unless they're absolutely superb and better than Sal, better than Kovacic, better than Jorginho in training, then, I don't really see a chance for them this season until January, and that's just how I feel about it.
No, absolutely agree as well. Jonathan, my man, thank you so much for joining. I mean, do appreciate your time. I know you were just at work and you've just arrived. Thank you so much for making the effort. How you doing, my bro?
I'm good, man. It's just, work is just really busy at the moment. Obviously, on the train, just didn't have any signal. So apologies, I didn't text you to tell you. But yeah, just, it's a massive game tomorrow. We're there and I'm really looking forward to it. And I think I just caught, you're probably talking about Barkley, Loftus-Cheek, I'm guessing. Yeah. Even I was thinking from the questions they were asking in the press conference, is he going to play one of them? Are they going to be in the squad? It'll be interesting. I'm 50-50 on whether it's the right night to put them in. And I think Taron sums it up right. Probably it isn't. But yeah, we've got such a big squad and so much competition. I think it'll be some changes from Tuchel, but we have to take it seriously. Let's win the first 3 games at least, and then we can have the luxury of tweaking it a little.
100%. I mean, we'll go to the next topic in the press conference. I'll go to Jonathan first up. But quickly, Tiz, is Reece James eligible to play? He 100% is. He was red carded in the Premier League, which means Premier League, Carabao Cup, if there's any FA Cup, but obviously FA Cup's not starting as yet. But yeah, it's the Premier League and the Carabao Cup I think he'll miss. And obviously the Spurs game, and then he'll be back after that. But he's definitely eligible for Champions League. Jonathan, the last bit, and I'll get your thoughts on Ben Chilwell down the track when we do the lineups again. We had a very interesting conversation about that. But the last part that I wanted to discuss about the Champions League was Thomas Tuchel was asked, now that you've won it, you won it last season, which was such a high for all of us. I mean, I broke down on this particular channel. It was such a great moment that we, celebrated, obviously. But he was asked, how do you find the hunger again to go again? And I loved how Thomas Tuchel said, it feels like a long time ago. So I'm hungry again. I need to win this again. I love that sort of, that desire, that hunger to do this again. And he looked like he was very focused and genuine about it as well. The fact that he was saying all the players are focused and they, we got to go once again. I mean, is that how you see it as well? That, look, it is what it is. We won that last season. That doesn't mean this season is a pass. Get out of the group stage, get into the Europa League. No, you got to go again and try and be there in the – like, I feel like our team should be there at least semi-finals. Like, we are one of the best ones in Europe. But what do you think about, the response that Thomas Tuchel gave in regards to, going again?
Yeah, I think he summed up really well when he said winning is addictive. Even I said it on the Champions League final night when I was already looking forward to the Premier League season. I said, look, I want us to dominate our league. I want us to be back. I want us to start winning things more regularly. Trophies are what people remember. And Tuchel hit the nail on the head. And I think he's someone that demands everything from his players. I don't think he'll let his players rest on their laurels. So, yeah, his attitude has been spot on since he came into Chelsea. The way he talks, the way he is in press conferences. I think the impression he gives off is that, whilst it's a happy camp, I think he allows people to relax and express themselves and have fun. He knows he's serious. And tomorrow he'll be saying, look, we've had an unbeaten start to the season. We are the Champions League winners. We go into this season as one of the favourites. Now, last year we're the underdogs and people didn't expect us to get to the final, even win it. But now the expectation's there, and we've got to prove our worth. He wanted to bring in another midfielder. We have. He's clearly serious about this season. The way we've started the league, we're still nowhere near as good as we can be, in my opinion. We spoke about being in second gear.
I don't think we've played a single flawless game yet.
Nowhere near.
I can't recall.
Second gear, in my opinion, and I think that's when he's going, look, guys, it's good. Can get so much better. But this is a good thing to be at this point of the season and still have a long way to improve. Already we are better than last season with just having a proper striker. So yeah, to answer your question, I think his mentality is that he wants to win. He wants success. We've won the Super Cup just to start the season off. We all talked about how it's great to start the season off well. And I think now they've got the taste for it. This young squad now, hopefully, under Tuchel, we're going to think that, winning is something that is expected. Because at Chelsea, success is expected. Why do you think we sack so many managers? The turnover of staff is so high because, even Abramovich, if you've looked at the very, very few interviews or words that he's given, I think there was one in Forbes I read a few years ago You know, and he sort of said, you know, the reason we change things is because you know, we have a blueprint and the way we want to go, and things just happen in a way. He was politely saying, I want to win everything. So, and this is why, you know, it's worked effectively. You know, this has worked, and this is what we do. But yeah, I have no doubt that the players are going to be up for this, and we're going to go out there and put a performance on tomorrow.
100%. And you know what, Abramovich, he deserves it. I mean, he's pumped in so much money and effort into this. The expectation is absolutely deserved. Taron, one more question before we move on to the whole injury fronts and whatnot. I found this question from one of the journalists really strange, and I tweeted this out, and I do want to see what you guys have to say. I'll go to Taron first up. One of the journalists said, Thomas, yes, you've won the Champions League last season, but you didn't do it all the way. You didn't get out of the group stage. You took over after the group stage. So you haven't really won it all the way. I mean, do you need to prove to everyone that you can get out of the group stage and then go on to win it? And I found that so strange and somewhat insulting as well. I mean, let's be honest, playing after the group stage is a lot harder than playing at group stage. I mean, look, no disrespect, you know, obviously the job that we did at group stage is you still need to do that to get out. But I love Thomas's, you know, Tuchel's response as well, how he's saying, look, completely appreciate what Frank has done, but let's not take away my credit that what we've done post that was just as sensational. So what do you make of that particular question? I found that very strange, man, that he has to prove himself again.
Another strange question in these particular interviews, you know, about Tuchel's breakfast and about this one now. I think they might need to switch the kind of journalists at this stage and maybe get me and Johnathan in there. But, you know, in terms of that question, I love your face chair, by the way, Johnathan. Absolutely, I adore it. It's beautiful.
I love it, man. Yeah, I was just going to say, brilliant facial hair, man. Good on you.
Beautiful. Back to the question.
We'll see more tomorrow. But yeah, back to the question.
Yeah, I mean, it was a strange question, and I like how Tuchel answered, and he did credit Frank Lampard, fair enough, but he did say, you know, basically implying, I beat Atletico Madrid, the Spanish champions. I beat Real Madrid, who knocked out Liverpool, we finished ahead of us in the league. He's basically implying, you know, I beat Man City, the Premier League champions, who absolutely flawless our season. And, you know, he's taken the credit that he rightfully deserves, in my opinion. Yes, you know, Lampard did very well in the group stages, incredibly well, in my opinion, to, you know, absolutely blast Sevilla aside, destroy Krasnodar away, and do a lot of great things. But he's taken as well-deserved credit, which I really like. And yeah, I think very respectful, but very honest. And I really like that particular thing. And, you know, he, like Jonathan said, he's really hungry for success. He's appreciated his own skills so far. He wants to do well in the Premier League this season. He wants to win a lot of other competitions. The journalists are going to look for little things to pick out already. I don't know how they're trying to kind of dampen a Champions League win away from him so far, but I think this guy is hungry to win. He's hungry to win many titles with Chelsea. He likes the structure of the club. He likes everything that's gone on so far, and he wants to really build on this. You know, there's a bit off topic, but he's mentioned so many times in different interviews, he really likes the structure of Chelsea. He's the most happiest he's been at any club so far. So the way I see it, he's not really thinking about all these different questions. Journalists trying to wind him up, get different clicks on their newspapers and different articles. He's just focused on winning games at Chelsea, winning titles. He's already won the Super Cup, the Champions League. And I think the sky is the limit right now for Tuchel. So a very weird question, but I think, like usual, he's really slick. He's really good with his answers, and he's really dealt with these, I say, weird answering journalists really well.
Nah, 100%. Ibsy with a really good comment. It's so disrespectful to Thomas Tuchel that the journalist asked that question. It's like saying AVP deserves credit for 2012 just because he won the group stage. I mean, look, I don't want to discredit what Lampard did. We still needed to do that. But then to say to Thomas Tuchel that you need to prove yourself, like, I found that really strange. I mean, it's not like Thomas Tuchel hasn't got out of the group stages before. Like, he has. He knows how to do that. But, you know, we'll see. We go again. Johnathan, let's talk about the injury fronts. Kante, Pulisic, we all know. And I don't want to spend time talking about Pulisic because I get hammered in the live chat on a regular basis from especially American fans. And that's fine. I know you guys represent Pulisic and I get that. I never ever talked down on Pulisic or slandered Pulisic. I simply commented on his availability, and it's only detrimental for himself because Chelsea Football Club won't be harboring a player that's not going to be playing enough and this is the third season. But that's about Pulisic. We know that he's out for 10 days. We've known that, so this is not a surprise. Kante is still not ready, apparently, against Zenit. Johnathan, Thomas Tuchel said in the previous press conference, the one against the match that we had, who did we play?
Just
match?
Aston Villa.
Aston Villa, yeah. Oh my God, I've completely forgotten who we played. Yeah, he said that Kante is definitely not ready against Aston Villa. He may be in contention for the Zenit game, but it looks like now he's not. I just want to ask you, Johnathan, I know this is a hot topic out there, but I feel like this will be a bit of a trend. I don't know whether... Here's the thing, Johnathan. Do we give Kante enough time to just completely recover and whatever niggles and whatnot he's had, let's just get it out of the system? Or is it something, Johnathan, that we need to start accepting that regardless of how much recovery time you give Kante, I think age has finally got caught up to him. He is 30 now, that we will never, ever get that same Kante in terms of that, playing week in, week out, 2 games, 3 games a week. We just need to accept the fact that even a fit Kante could pick up that odd injury that could just knock him out for 1, 2, 3 games, for the upcoming fixtures. I mean, is that something that we need to start accepting as well? And also the fact that we possibly do need to look for a successor down the track?
100%. We need to game manage him internationally as well, because he's in every French squad. I know he's on the subs bench for the first game. I don't know about the other games. But
yeah, I think he was sent home after the first game.
Okay, well, yeah, he just needs to be managed 100%. I think there has to be an agreement between the club and the internationals. There's a really important game. I think that it's fair if there's not so much of an important game for Chelsea, for vice versa to be rested. But yeah, I think one game every 3 days now is not really, it's just not comprehensible for him. Look, I think Tuchel said that he's had 2 training sessions. The Champions League game comes a bit too early. So maybe he's in contention for Spurs. I mean, we'll know sort of Thursday, Friday time. But even for that game, you probably bring him on as a sub. I think the days are gone where, like you said, you can play him every week. You can rely on him every game. We have such a player in our hands that we have to use him in the right way. We almost have to say, look, which game do we need him for in the next 3 and try and pinpoint that one as the one that he's going to play. He has played quite a lot of games in the last few seasons despite having injuries, but it's almost like a totting up process. It's happened so often and he's had so many that we now just have to be so careful. So he has to be game managed. We have to be careful with his training. But if you look at the way he plays, he is going to pick up injuries just because of the impact he has on his body, because he just continually runs, as we know. I mean, the engine he has is incredible. And because of the amount of games he has played and his style, he will pick them up, even if he's fit, even if there's no tackles. So, yeah, we just have to be very careful. And I think that the medical staff and Tuchel will know that. I think Tuchel's a bit smarter than what Lampard was using. There's no dig at Lampard. It just seemed that sometimes Lampard did run him into the ground a little bit more. I think Tuchel's now got the option of having Kovacic and Jorginho and now Sarr. He even said 3 midfielders, no disrespect to your Barkley's and Loftus-Cheek. He said it in his conference. He said, I was not confident going in with 3 midfielders. And I think he's got in the back of his head about Kante. He hasn't really spoken publicly, I don't think, because he doesn't want it to be an issue. I don't think he wants people to focus on it. But he must know that I've got to be really careful. And having someone in with quality that I can bring in if Kante's not available is a must important. And yeah, I think it's definitely got something to do with his injury. So just to touch on my last answer, by the way, to your question, remember the last time we won the Champions League where we got knocked out in the group stage? It's another reason why Tuchel will be saying, look, we can't allow this to happen again. We've got I'd say more favourable group. I'm not saying it's an easy group. I think Juventus are nowhere near the peak of their powers, but we've got to start this group well. So, having Kante on the injury list or not available is not great, but we have got the options in the squad, and that's the beauty of it.
100%. Taron, let's just quickly talk a little bit about the option. I think it's an interesting thing to bring out right now before we look into the Zenit situation. Saul Niguez. Now, we've now said that Kante is he's definitely not ready for it. This is what Thomas Tuchel said, so we can expect him not to be in the squad at all tomorrow. I feel like Jorginho and Kovacic, I don't want to burn them out. Kovacic has played all international games. Then he's played the 90 minutes against Villa. we saw Jorginho come off the bench in the second half. Obviously, you were there, Taron. You saw the control that Jorginho took over. But then Jorginho picked up a bit of a knock right at the end. I was just praying that hopefully this guy doesn't, get injured for 1 or 2 games here and there, because I don't think we have a direct replacement for Jorginho. He's so damn important for us. I mean, I've been an advocate, and this is a really good comment from Flyers. I'd actually like Saul to start in the pivot tomorrow just to get him some minutes. Not just that, Taron. I feel like the disastrous debut that he had, I don't want to just shelve him back again. I feel like saying, Saul, take 2, go again. Because Thomas Tuchel's great. The other great thing I loved about Thomas Tuchel post-match, he said, I put my hand up, my responsibility. I don't think he should get the blame. He looked really good in training, but when the game started, he looked like the pace was a bit too much for him. Premier League, he needs to adapt. But Champions League shouldn't be the same case as the Premier League in terms of pace. I would like to see Saul get another opportunity and really build up that confidence. Or do you go with Kovacic and Jorginho? What's your thoughts?
I think that's a great point. That Saul, we can't really shelf him after that game. Tuchel, I really like how he's come out and taken partially the blame for it. That he was very good in training, but maybe against John McGinn, he's always good against Chelsea. It was a bit too soon for him to be thrown into the lineup, but I think the main thing for me now is confidence with Saul. He didn't look very confident in the game against Aston Villa after giving the ball away a few times. If he plays against Zenit, has a great game, runs at midfield, maybe gets the goal and assist, makes some great tackles in midfield, he's going to go into the rest of the Premier League games with a lot of confidence of his back that he's played well. He seems like a guy who really wants to do well at Chelsea. He's always posting, on his Twitter and Instagram about the fans. He apologized after that performance. So, yeah, I think the Zenit game would be perfect.
Taron. That was brilliant. I really liked how he tried to connect like that. He actually admitted the fact that, look, put my hand up, wasn't the greatest debut. I will go again. I mean,
not many
that takes some courage, bro.
Yeah. The only players who I've seen maybe do that, Thiago Silva, when he had that poor game against West Brom, I believe he posted on his Instagram and something similar along those lines. And it takes a lot of guts and character to come out to the fans, even though you could risk abuse and stuff. He did it, and a fair play to him. But touching on Jorginho a little bit, I think, he is close to overload, but he's played 3 games for Italy, every single game in the international break, 3 games within like 2-3 days within each other. And I think it could be an issue, but the way I think of it, compared to Kante is 100% high octane, dribbling, running, box to box, always pressing. And I know Jorginho plays in a very, very intense system under Thomas Tuchel, but maybe the intensity isn't as high workload on the body as Kante, so maybe the workload could be managed a little bit better. Maybe Jorginho could play more games than Kante. The rest time is a little bit less, but nonetheless, Jorginho has been playing a lot of games recently. So I wouldn't be surprised if he is rested for this game. But the way I want to see it is Jorginho with sound against the midfield. We haven't really seen that. Like I said in the review for the game against Aston Villa, Kovacic and Saul doesn't really look like a pivot that I'm very favourable towards, due to them both, want to be a box to box. They both want to go forward. They both want to defend. They both want to be all over the pitch. So the dynamics weren't really there. If Jorginho's holding, keeping the possession, controlling the game like he did in that second half, and Saul Niguez has the license to roam, the license to dribble, the license to have a little bit less pressure on them in midfield, I think that could be a nice combination. And like I said, against Zenit St. Petersburg, if Saul has a great game, it'll make him feel great. It'll make his confidence a lot better. Maybe the adaptation to the league will be a little bit easier after that. So that's kind of what I want to see for this game.
100%. Ibsy, thank you so much for the super chat, my man. I mean, you could comment, but I'll probably pick up this comment. Maybe this is what you were trying to say. Saul was taking too much time on the ball, and that was mainly because of the transition of La Liga and Premier League is so different. He will come good, just needs a bit of patience. 100%. It looked like the game was a bit too quick for him, and that's fine, man. I mean, it is his first 45 minutes in the Premier League, so I'm not going to bash him off the back of that. It was just really strange to see so many people in social media saying, get rid of him and whatnot and cancel the loan, which I don't know if it was banter or it was just being serious. But ladies and gentlemen, we've got nearly 90 people live. Let's get those likes up to 80 straight away. You're going to enjoy this stream. Undoubtedly, the boys are here. Soon we're going to get into the lineups prediction, and it's going to get so much interesting from that perspective. We're going to talk about Zenit as well. So let's get those likes up to 80 at least straight away. And if you're here for the first time, subscribe and check out the boys and their socials in the description right now. Johnathan, let's talk about Zenit. Now, let's understand Zenit. I have no idea about this team, who they have and whatnot, but we'll have a quick look at it. Zenit in the Russian league are now leading 7 played, 5 wins, 2 draws, 17 points, 16 goals scored, 18 against, goal difference obviously 8. Having a look at some of their matches recently, they've beaten Akhmet Grozny 3-1. They beat CSKA Moscow 1-0. That's actually a very good team, CSKA Moscow. FC Ufa 1-1. Lokomotiv Moscow, where our boy Tina Angerini is at the moment, 1-0. Krasnodar, they beat them 3-2. Krasnodar is, generally they've been playing in the Champions League the last few seasons and Europa League as well. I just want to have a quick look at the players as well. Malcolm, as we all remember, the days from Barcelona, he apparently plays there now. Artem Zuba, I believe, for Russia is a very, very good player. But besides that, Dejan Lovren, obviously from Liverpool. What do you know about Zenit and how are you feeling about this particular prospect of facing them?
Yeah, it'll be an interesting game. I don't know loads about Zenit. With Champions League games, there's always one or two in the group that you think, look, if we focus on ourselves, we'll win this game. And as much as I don't want to be disrespectful to Zenit, I don't want to take this game lightly. I know how Tuchel is, and as I've said before, he's someone that will be making sure the players are up for this game with the right mentality. But if we play our game tomorrow, we win this game. And I fully expect to go there, Champions League game on the nights for the first time since, all these issues that have happened in the world. So I expect us to turn up and I expect us to win this game. So as much as I'd love to give you a deep dive into Zenit about how they play, if we play our game and we play like we know we can, even in second gear, to be honest, the way we've been playing in the Premier League, we should win this game. So, it's a team that I think could cause us problems. Azmoun was for Zenit was the top scorer in the Russian league this season. He's already got 5 or 6
the same
this season
thing as well. That Serdar Azmoun, he plays for the national team for Iran. Seems to be a bit of a player. Yeah,
he's 5 or 6 already this season. He's someone that they will look to get the ball to in and around the box and try and score. So we know Zuba, I think his name is the tall striker. They play quite well in this formation with the 2 up top. I know that Malcolm and Claudinho are free to play. Those are 2 players that they do heavily rely on, but they are without Lovren, the player who used to play for Liverpool. Most people will probably know is one of the players on the team sheet that they probably are aware of. A lot of them, the players that they won't be so, but Ozdiov and Karavev are out as well. 2 players that are in their squad as well. But I think one of the most interesting ones is Barrios, who some people may know as well. He's only allowed in the UK because of quarantine from like 4 a.m. So he's got to come on a different flight. And he's someone that, again, may not be ready to play, and there's a doubt. So they've got a few doubts. They've got a few players that from their starting 11 that may not be able to play. So I'm not saying that they're depleted, but they are in really good form. As I've said earlier about winning is addictive. They're going to come up to Stamford Bridge. There's no expectation. The Zenit manager has already said, look, Chelsea are a fantastic team. They won the Champions League this season. We fully respect it, but we've got to play our game. So as much as I think, we shouldn't worry too much about Zenit, if we play our game, we win. They're going to come here with no expectation. So as much as you'd think it'll be a home win, they can cause problems if we let them, if we allow them time and space on the ball, if we sit off of them, if we don't press, if we don't get on the ball early on, we could have a bit of a job on our hands. But as I said, and I repeat myself, being someone that fully believes in what Tuchel does and how he prepares players for games, I don't expect that to happen. I expect us to get on the ball early, to cause problems, to get in behind, with the wing backs, especially being really, really important for this game. I think it's going to be one that if we can get a nice early goal, I think, the fans, it will be a lot easier for us. If it gets to half time and it's still 0-0, that's when it gets a little bit worrying. But yeah, in my opinion, more than capable of winning this game.
Taron, as Johnathan said, we shouldn't take this lightly. It almost feels like it's a free hit for Zenit that they could just come here and not really expected to win. They know that as well. We're the European champions. But these are the games that could sometimes work against us because the opposition are feeling we've got nothing to lose, play our best and see what happens. They've got some decent players. The live chat are all over Azmoun as well. And Jonathan's mentioned Claudinho. They've got Malcolm. Windell, from what I've just seen from these pictures from the few matches, looks like he's been in the goals and assists as well. Barrios is another player that the live chat is saying is a Colombian midfielder, very good player. I mean, how much do you know about Zenit, and how are you feeling about this particular game against them?
Again, the style of football is, I'm not too sure. Like same with Jonathan, but their players are, some of them are very under the radar. Artem Zuba was key to Russia at the World Cup in 2018. He was a great target man. He scored some great goals. And if we aren't sharp, if we give him too much room, if we let him dominate the game and allow Malcolm and other players to play off of him, it could be a real big issue. But with the experience of whoever started, Thiago Silva, Christensen has really improved his work against target men recently. I think we should be all right with him. But, Malcolm, if you remember when we were going to swap Willian plus 60 million or something for Malcolm back in, I don't even know, 2017-18 was that? And then he ended up scoring against Barcelona. That was quite funny, kind of like a little story. But yeah, Malcolm hasn't been great for years. He was supposed to be a massive wonder kid. When he was playing for, was it Bordeaux or something? He was supposed to be a massive wonder kid.
Yeah, I remember. He was a bit of a wonder kid, wasn't he, for Bordeaux?
Yeah, he was. He was going to be a big winger. And now I'm not kind of trying to slate Zenit, but he has ended up in Russia playing for Zenit St. Petersburg. Not a bigger club as he would have hoped for in the past. So yeah, same. Like first, I want to big up Dieter Van Goot in the live chat.
Yeah, man, he seems to have a lot of knowledge.
Great. Analysis on these players. Wilmar Barrios. I do know from career mode, he's a very good player in career mode. He's very, very physical, very, very strong, quick. Centre mid, and Ratiski, a centre back. You guys haven't really mentioned him. He was playing for Shakhtar Donetsk for a lot of years. He's a very tidy centre back. I believe he was their captain for quite a long time, so he could be a great centre back. And I believe he will be their main centre back with that Dejan Lovren there. But like Jonathan said, we can look at Zenit as much as we want. We can analyse Malcolm. We could try and pick at straws with their lineup, but the main thing is if we play our game and we are, the strong defensive team we are, and very, very fluid at the front line, very, very technical in midfield, I think it should be an easy game. But like you guys have already mentioned a lot as well, Zenit's form is absolutely superb recently. If we bring up some of their games, 5 wins and 2 draws this season, and I believe they are the Russian champions as well. So, I'm sure they have a lot of confidence. Like you guys said, they're going to be playing up against the European champions. It could be a free hit for them, but their recent form suggests that they're in a lot of confidence. They could cause issues if we let them have too much time on the ball. We aren't sharp like we were in the first half against Aston Villa. With players like Zuma, they could punish us and our Zuma up front. So all I say is if we play our game, we aren't slack on the ball. We're dynamic. We're great in defense. We stop all these, attacking quick players playing. It should be an easy game, but it could be a banana peel.
No, 100%, man. And we shouldn't be complacent. I'm pretty sure Thomas Tuchel will make sure that we're not. Zenit, they look like they're a decent team. We should be beating on when you look at it on paper and our form and whatnot. We should be beating a team like Zenit, but we shouldn't take them lightly, thinking we're just going to roll up and we're just going to absolutely roll them over. That shouldn't be the case, guys. 100 of you guys are live right now. Smash the like button. Let's get those likes up to 100 straight away. It's on 46. Let's get the likes up to 100. And if you're here for the first time, subscribe. Check out the boys and their socials in the description. I can't stress enough how much the likes are so important to the growth of this channel. It just exposes the video out to more fans out there. So please smash the like button if you guys have been enjoying it. And if you're here for the first time, make sure you're subscribing because we are running wild towards 8,000 subscribers, getting closer and closer, which is going to be another brilliant achievement as well for the channel. All right, let's get straight into this. This is what you guys have been waiting for. This is where all the fun starts. This is where some juicy conversations take place. Jonathan, I'll go to you first up with the keeper and the 3 at the back, and then I'll see what Taron has to say, and then I'll give my perspective, and then we'll try and lock it. We'll see what the live chat has to say as well. Do consider, live chat, that there is another game with Spurs coming up. There was a game with Aston Villa, rotation and whatnot. Have all of that in your mind, and then come up with a particular back 3 and a goalkeeper. I'll start with you, Jonathan. Who are you going with? I mean, is there a chance for Mendy for Kepa, or you're going with Mendy?
He tweeted earlier saying, "See you tomorrow, Champions League," with a little wink and a couple of pictures from him in training. And I think he's been experimented. Kepa did, yeah. He's been experimented before in the Champions League with Tuchel. And again, Kepa did well in the Super Cup. He's clearly, in terms of mentality and his attitude and his confidence, is clearly there. And I have a feeling he's going to start him. A couple of surprises at the weekend.
This is the thing, Jonathan. I didn't want to get into this season. I didn't want to have that situation where you've got a cup keeper and a league keeper. It just bothers me a lot. I mean, no disrespect to Kepa, but I just get your keeper is the one position that you don't necessarily need to rotate. It's not like they run around 24/7, but you think Kepa's going to get a shot here?
Just that little wink on Twitter. I mean, he doesn't always do this sort of thing. I mean, why would you say see you tomorrow if you know you're going to be on the bench? I just got a feeling, because again, it's about keeping the mood right in the camp.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe being rewarded for his penalty shootout heroics, first day in the Champions League or first game in the Champions League. I just think, nothing against Mendy, because we know he is our number one, but yeah, I've just got a sneaky feeling. That's my kind of wild pick for this one, really. So stay tuned. We'll be there. And as soon as we know the team news, we'll be reporting it live. But
did you say he tweeted that?
I saw it. Someone retweet it. Yeah, Kepa on Twitter. So be interesting.
Oh,
there we
it's
go.
actually there as well.
We go.
It's actually there.
So not only, are we... keen reporters on here, but we've got a keen eye for content as well, guys. Nothing gets past
Johnathan,
us.
The In The Know has picked it out, plucked it straight from Twitter. Kepa Arrizabalaga saying, "See you tomorrow, Champions League." I think he's starting, ladies and gentlemen. I think this boy's trying to say he's starting.
It's just the wink as well, isn't it? And the loading.
Yeah.
That's what got me.
Yeah.
Again, it might just... I mean, why would you do that if you're not playing? It's not like a massive game that you need to start throwing hints around. So I just think, again, reward. It's all about, keeping the mood in the camp as well, because Kepa's going to be itching to be on the pitch. He's said in interviews that, it's not great to wake up on the weekend or for a game and be on the bench. You want to play every game. So... yeah, just curveball. Feel it might happen. When I saw that, on the way home, I was like, nailed on. So I've got a feeling.
Now convinced he's probably going to start. Good pickup on that one, Jonathan. I mean, why would you do that? Why would you have that wink and the loading sign if you don't know? And I'm sure they all know the lineup already. Jonathan, who's your three at the back?
My three. Now, played a lot of games for Germany, played a lot of games for Chelsea, seems to just play every single game, but I would stick with him as well, and I would go with Rudiger. You can't change all of the back line in one game, because I'm going to make a couple of changes here just to keep it fresh, as you say, with the game in mind that we had against Villa, with Spurs in mind. I think we have to make a couple of changes. And yes, we're changing the keeper as well, but we've got a plethora of talent in the centre-back position. We need to utilise it. So in the middle, I'm going to go with Christensen. I know Silva played at the weekend. Bring in Christensen, keep it fresh. On the right-hand side, might not be one that everyone will agree with, but I think he brought a calm when he came on at the weekend. He's the captain on a Champions League night, a big night when you need that calm, when you need that presence, when you need the leadership. And especially if Kepa plays, in my opinion, as well. Again, no disrespect against him, but I think Azpilicueta there will just be there to marshal the defence and to make sure everything ticks over like it needs to be. So, yeah, that's my back four. I think Rudiger is probably going to be in everyone's. I think Christensen and Azpilicueta are the two that people will obviously debate, but that's the reasons. The leadership, Christensen shown his quality. I just love Rudiger and his mentality and his mindset. On a night where we just need a little bit of bite, where we need to make sure we're up for it, he's going to make sure we are. So, yeah, that's my back four.
100% agreed. I mean, Taron, I'll go to you then, and then I'll try and confirm my side and try and pick out some comments from the live chat as well. You agree with that? Backline, obviously, Kepa being the notorious one that snuck in there with his tweet. I'm convinced that he's probably going to start as well now, off the back of what Jonathan just showed us. But yeah, who's your back three?
Yeah, he definitely. It'll be very, very strange if he posted that and he wasn't, being told that he's starting. But my opinion, I agree with Pratha and Shetty. I think we play Kepa against Malmo. You guys have both mentioned it's our first game. We need to go for the good start after what happened in 2012-13. We can't risk, Zenit. We can't take them as an easy team, in my opinion. Like we've mentioned, they have some great players. They've been in great form. It's a free hit for them. I would go with Mendy because I feel very secure. I think he's a world-class goalkeeper. I want him for our first game. We can throw him in for Malmo. Is it away, home? Not quite sure when it is, but I would go with Mendy, but I think Kepa will start, and Tuchel is rewarding him maybe for his great mentality, the Super Cup performance, his great work in training. It's been quite difficult to try and fit him in the Premier League start. We needed to go off well with the Crystal Palace game, the Villa game, Arsenal, Liverpool.
And Taron, you know what? I do like what Johnathan said as well. Just to keep that harmony in the team, it's very important to look. I would start Mendy, but I do understand making sure that the team is all still happy together.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm happy that Kepa gets opportunity. I personally want Mendy to start. I think Tuchel will go with Mendy with Kepa, and that's how I think he'll probably go for. Antonio Rudiger for me is undroppable. Like Jonathan said, his mentality is second to none. One player in this team for me who I just think, apart from Jorginho and Rudiger, Mason Mount is kind of being rotated right now. I think if you drop Rudiger, our whole defense loses that tenacity, that aggressiveness, that what do we call it? I'm not going to swear, but that kind of ability to just kick the ball away when he wants to. He doesn't really care.
That mongrel, that
exactly.
Might as well just say shithousery.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, shithousery. You already said it now. But yeah, AC centre back, Silva, I want him ready to deal with Harry Kane on Sunday. I want him to be fully fit. I don't want to risk any injury at the age of 30, 37. Is he getting to now? So Christensen, we know he's been so good every time he's been played. Absolute second to none. I think he's great. And as for Aspilicueta, like you guys said, our right centre back, I feel like we did miss him in that game against Villa. There was too much going down that right hand side. We're missing a bit of leadership with Chalobah there. So I'm happy to see Aspilicueta come back in. So yeah, I think Tuchel will go for that back four.
Yeah, man, I have to agree with Johnathan as well. The Kepa one obviously is the surprise package that we've got a tweet from Kepa. Just for people that have just tuned in, this is what Kepa apparently, not apparently, has tweeted this out, and Johnathan has picked up on it. And I think he's going to start. You don't just tweet, "See you tomorrow, Champions League," with a wink and loading. You don't just tweet that out if you're going to be in the bench. So I think he's probably going to start. And I do agree with the boys. Rudiger, I don't think we have a proper out-and-out replacement on that left side. Yeah, Chalobah could do a bit of a job, but right now Rudiger just provides something that no other defenders in our team gives us, that attitude. And he's probably one of the best in the world at the moment, to be honest. That's the level that he's playing. So you need to keep on going with him. Yes, soon he probably deserves a bit of break. That Carabao Cup against Aston Villa is probably going to be penciled down for him to have a bit of break. And he's been running around a lot as well. He's been driving from that left side, taking shots, long-range shots and whatnot. So he does deserve a break very soon because he's played for Germany in the international break as well. Christensen, as the boys have said, Thiago Silva played against Aston Villa, which was a heavy game. Take a bit of break. My man, 36 years old, going into 37, I believe. Or is he already 37? I'm not really sure. Christensen comes in. Aspilicueta, I think, the captain needs to be there now. We did see that playing Chalobah, Hudson-Odoi. Basically, what I'm saying is not having Thiago Silva, Aspilicueta, Kante, Jorginho, so many of the leaders against Aston Villa in the starting lineup. I don't think Thomas Tuchel is going to do that again. It was probably a thing he did because of the international break. So I'm happy with this back three. All right, Johnathan, let's go with the wing backs. This is where it gets a bit interesting. Right side, who are you going with?
All these chats, all these comments in the chat, about James and the curse with Drake. I'm going to go with him because didn't play at the weekend, obviously was suspended. I think he's going to start tomorrow. Let's go back to the Champions League winning wing backs. Let's show everyone what he can do because, whilst it was nice to see Hudson-Odoi, I wasn't particularly impressed from what I saw when I saw the highlights of the game. So I think he'll be given a chance. And on the left-hand side, he was talked about in the press conference by Tuchel, talked about the mental side of it, the fatigue.
Yeah, by the way, I do want to get your thought on that, Johnathan, because Taron and I, we spoke about this. It'll be good for the live chat to hear again from this particular situation. The fan base always jumps onto the case so quickly. What's going on? Ben Chilwell not being favoured? Is he out of, has something happened? And we need to sometimes just stay patient. And I love the fact how Thomas Tuchel was so transparent about the situation, that he had such a high with winning the Champions League, then went away in Euros, did not play a single minute, had high hopes that he was going to play for England, came back and he wasn't mentally right. He was mentally drained, not liking football, not enjoying life as per. Mentally, he was struggling. I mean, Jonathan, how important is that factor moving into playing week in, week out, you've got to be mentally right. So from that perspective, I feel like Ben Chilwell, take your time. I know Thomas Tuchel has now said he's back into the race again. He's probably going to start, I'd say. But how important is that mental side of the game?
100%. He's a nailed-on starter for me, just from what Tuchel said. But yeah, it's really important. I mean, he said, Tuchel, that when Chilwell came back, he sort of took him to one side and they spoke and they talked about the issues and sort of pretty much decided that he won't start the season, that he'll be bedded in, try and get some training under his belt. Because look, he didn't play in the Euros, but he was training every day and he was around sort of match fit. To not play almost has a negative effect. So he only had a few weeks off really after the Euros, and then to come back straight into Chelsea. It's tough, and I think he should have played at least a few minutes, maybe one or two games, especially with how good he is. This is nothing against Luke Shaw, because Luke Shaw's fantastic, but and he did well. But yeah, Chilwell just had such a good end to the season. He got better as it went on under Tuchel. But I think and I said this before when we talk about Alonso, that Alonso has his uses. He's not going to be the starting left back for the next few seasons under Tuchel or as long as he stays at Chelsea. But he's got his use. And in a game like Villa, in other games that we've played, like the Palace game, he's dangerous going forward. And he can be someone that, especially when we need rotation with Chilwell, that can come in and do a job. And I think it happened when Tuchel came in. He started Alonso because he wanted to play the same sort of formation as Lampard and see where it went. It obviously worked really, really well. And then Chilwell, when he played, shown his quality defensively, especially, which is obviously where we know Alonso lacks. He's a bit quicker in terms of stylistically. Yes, he's not going to score 50 goals a season like Alonso threatens to do, but he's more of an all-round player. And I think he recognises that, Tuchel. So Chilwell started to play more and more towards the end of the season, and I think that's going to be the case this season as well with Tuchel. So, yeah, mentally, the mental side of the game, if you're not quite there, if you're doubting yourself, if you're unhappy, it will show on the pitch. And Tuchel knows that he needs every part of this machine, all the cogs to be running correctly, which is why he's so clever in what he does. After the international break, which has been banana slips for Chelsea in the past and for many other teams, we come back and get a 3-0 win after not playing great. You know, last season and seasons before, we'd maybe drop points, especially if we made changes. But now, because we've got such a cohesive unit where everyone knows their roles, if you play in the right wing back role, this is what you do. If you play in the left centre back role, if you play as a striker, the winger, this is your role. And I think because everyone knows that, you can have a core of 6, 7 players, even 5, really, I'd say, for Chelsea now. And you can just pick around, certain aspects of the team where you can just slot in someone that isn't a regular starter, and the efficiency of the team will still be there just because of how well drilled Tuchel's got us in the formation and the style that we play. That's why I think he's got the luxury of bringing Alonso in instead of Chilwell, because other teams would target him defensively, but because of the way we are, and obviously having Rudiger on his side, Alonso's got the freedom because Rudiger's not going to allow any slack. So yeah, Chilwell in a roundabout way, to answer your question, will be, in my opinion, the starting left wing back or left back for Chelsea for the rest of the season. But yeah, to get him mentally right, which, as I say, is so important nowadays. We talk about mentality of players and Mason Mount, it being the extra % that we need and why he's praised so much over other players. It's the same here. So yeah, he's going to start, in my opinion. And I'm looking for a big performance. I'm looking at him to affect the game, to be solid defensively, but also contribute on the left-hand side going forward as well.
100%. I agree with the Reece James shout. Obviously, he got that red card against Liverpool, which meant that he couldn't play against Aston Villa. I'm more than willing to have Reece James back because he looks dynamic once again in that right side. I think the reference up front with Lukaku is helping him out as well. His crosses are not getting missed. And defensively, he's very astute, and his partnership with Azpilicueta is very, very solid. And Chilwell undoubtedly deserves some minutes now and kickstart his season. I mean, Taron, you happy with Reece James and Chilwell as well?
Yeah, I think Johnathan put it perfectly on Chilwell, but maybe to add more on Reece James, maybe some people would have gone with Silva, Andreas Christensen, right centre-back, and Azpilicueta, right wing-back, but I think Reece James is more astute going forward than Azpilicueta. Azpilicueta is a great crosser. He's great in his intelligence in the final third. But for me, Reece James, his link up there with Lukaku in the Arsenal friendly. I know there was a lot of deficiency with Arsenal's defence, with Kieran Tierney getting dragged in and Bukayo Saka not tracking back. But I really want to see that Reece James and Lukaku partnership again. And we don't really want to be going too defensive against his Zenit team. We want to be going all guns blazing, showing where the Champions League. And I think we have to put Reece James in and Chilwell for his match fitness back in, and not really much more to add on the wing backs rather.
No,
Love how you
100%.
said friendly, by the way. Arsenal friendly.
It
wasn't
I just
really
noticed
even
you
a
said
game.
Arsenal friendly.
It was just so easy. It was just a training, so it's just a friendly. We go to the
felt like a
win
friendly
2-0,
to me.
go home.
It was a Premier League friendly. We rocked up. We got ourselves 3 points.
3 points.
I mean,
for friendly,
every fixture with Arsenal is a bit of a friendly, to be honest. Jonathan, let's now look at the double pivot. We did touch on this when we spoke about Saul, and of course Kante not being available for this particular match. The options are Kovacic, Jorginho, or Saul, or do you go with a surprise package, someone like Ruben Loftus-Cheek or Barkley, the bad boy Barkley, to come into the middle? Jonathan, who are you going with the two in the middle?
Barkley should have been loaned out. I mean, as I said when I started here and when I tweeted out earlier, it may be because when he's asked a question and he spends time to articulate himself to give a response, there's always a reason. Barkley was on the bench against Villa. I think Loftus-Cheek was as well. Yeah. They're going to be in and around the squad just because of injuries and stuff. You know, we need to make sure that we've got cover. Surprised they didn't get loaned out. And as much as I think one of them might come on, we've got 5 subs in the Champions League, remember, still. We don't have that luxury in the Premier League, and like so many other leagues around Europe still have. It could be a case of, if we are winning, to bring them on and get some minutes, because, again, it's about squad harmony. If you're in and around the squad and you're not playing for someone like Barkley and Loftus-Cheek, who would get games elsewhere, I think in the latter starts of the competition, obviously the Carabao Cup they'll play, but maybe a sub appearance, and that's all I'm going to limit the both of them to. They're both not really pivot players in my opinion anyway. So Kovacic has played so much, great at the weekend to finally score a first goal at Stamford Bridge. I think it was. Very hard to drop
him though, right, Jonathan? Very hard.
It's hard to drop him. You want the momentum. It's the reason I've put Rudiger in there as well. You want momentum. You can't change every player, but I think just because we do need to be careful about this pivot position, especially with Kante not 100% fit. And I think against Spurs, Jorginho or Kovacic has to play against Spurs, probably both of them. If we want to keep the right fit going, if we want to keep our... just because of how well they play together in that system. And away to Spurs, I know Spurs have had really up and down. They've played quite well in the 3 games and really, really bad at the weekend against Palace. They just didn't turn up. Kane didn't even get a shot or a touch in the box for the first time in his Premier League career for Tottenham. They're going to be raring to go. So I think that's, again, I always talk about Tuchel like the old Fergie days of him planning ahead. Just what he did for Villa, in my opinion. He'll be planning ahead for Sunday, and he'll want Jorginho and Kovacic to play, unless Sarr plays an absolute blinder just because of the speed of the game. So I think it's going to be Sarr in this pivot. And I'm going to go with Jorginho just because of the control he brought. It's been well publicised on Twitter about how good he was when he came on, and the real shift in play when he did. Because of Kovacic's game time, I think that's probably going to be the one. And as much as Kovacic is great, I think he was quite good in that single role. We did lack a bit of control at times, and obviously the quick transitions. Villa got pacey players. They had quite a few chances in the game, especially in the first half when I caught bits of it. Jorginho can play. If Sol's not playing as well, Jorginho, I'm not saying again it is perfect as a sole player in a pivot to hold the team up, but I think he's just a little bit more comfortable and he's a little bit calmer on the ball. He's not going to burst forward like Kovacic does and leave space open. So if Sol, I don't think he's going to struggle with the pace because the Champions League pace is different. But I'm not saying he needs to carry him, but I just feel like he's got the presence and the calm, Player of the Year UEFA at the moment, just the mindset to get through. It's just that it's the confidence that oozes through, when he's on the ball. And obviously with Azpilicueta as well, I think it will link up quite nicely, the leadership kind of thing there. They'll dictate the play, they'll dictate where the players need to be, and he'll be someone that can tell Saul where to be, whereas I don't see Kovacic really doing that. I think that's probably the pivot. I'm very, very confident that this is going to be the back 8 that plays, in my opinion.
Taron, it's so important. One of the things that was outlined, and I believe it was Thomas Tuchel who said this as well, the ability of Jorginho to come and link up with, someone like Alonso or Chilwell, someone like Rudiger, someone like AC, someone like Aspie, Reece James, and of course when it's Kovacic, and in this instance it's Saul. His ability to be that option across that backline for every single player, it's so underrated, Taron. Like, people don't see that in the football game. They don't talk about it too much. You would have noticed, and I know you were in the game for Aston Villa when Kovacic was playing here with Saul. As great as Kovacic is, he was getting isolated because whenever he got the ball, that chemistry with Saul wasn't there. Saul wasn't then also moving along. So for example, if Jorginho moves this way and supports Rudiger or Chilwell and Christensen, you need Saul to come as well to show up for the ball, to have that option. And I feel like Saul just stayed in his mark and then just isolated someone like Kova, and vice versa. When Saul got the ball, Kova wasn't doing the same thing that he generally does with Jorginho. So, I mean, are you happy with this pivot? And also the factor that Jorginho's ability in the build-up is so important to show up across the back line here?
I think, Jonathan put it perfectly. I think, this pivot is probably what I'd go for as well. But that's a great point you make, Miz, about Jorginho. I think mainly for me, it's the confidence that the players know that Jorginho very rarely loses the ball. He's always there to release pressure whenever we need him. I think it's a very, very underrated factor in this team. Say, under a lot of pressure, Jorginho is always in a great position. I think his body positions when he's receiving the ball is very underrated. He never puts himself in a position where he's up against a defender. There's a possibility of him losing the ball. He's always in a place where he'll receive it. He'll have another option. And I think, Billy Gilmore does it a lot. Before he receives the ball, he always checks behind him, scans the pitch a little bit to see where the next pass is. And I think it's a massive part of the build-up. Without Jorginho, we saw it on Saturday against Aston Villa. Yes, Saul and Kovacic are very, very composed on the ball, but I feel like our build-up play did really lack without a connector, as we'd say, between the midfield and the defence, and then we can play from there. The build-up play was quite lacking. We'd lose the ball a lot in the midfield, and we kind of concede chances. But with Jorginho, like I said, every player has 100% trust in him, that when they pass to him, he'll keep possession, he'll win a foul, which he did a lot in that Liverpool game when we were under a lot of scrutiny. He kept winning them crucial fouls high up the pitch and kept going from there. So, I think Jorginho's role in this team is very underrated. There's a reason he won UEFA Men's Player of the Year with Italy, why he was such a crucial part of that team that won the Euro 2020, why he was a crucial part of us winning, the double in the kind of Europe kind of way, the trophy. So, I think he's very, very underrated. And I think he could be the key to getting the best out of Sal, in my opinion. Kante with Sal is not really a combination that I think is too good. But Jorginho, he's the best with Kova. He's the best with Kante. He's the best with Sal. And let's think about it. He's the one who links with all of them. So, I think he's the key kind of cog in that midfield. And just to kind of touch on his comment by Jose Porto, I think, it's a fair point you make that Barkley could get some minutes, but I don't think we'd kind of throw him in after getting no minutes this season in the Champions League. And Chalobah, obviously, as well, he played there a lot for Lorient, a lot for Ipswich and in the DM role. But like I said before, we cannot risk playing these kind of players in such a crucial European game against the Russian champions, against a very, very, aggressive team with great midfield and great players like Wilmer Barrios. So, that's what I'd say. But Jorginho, like you said, Miz, is such an underrated player and he really deserves more respect and maybe a banner as football Twitter's going on right now.
I can't believe you brought that up. I just want to quickly talk about this before we go to the front three, because since you brought this up, Taron, I do want to bring it up. Jonathan, this whole banner business, man, it's getting out of control. I tweeted out saying that, what does it matter, man? I mean, just enjoy the fact there is a banner for Mason, man, and move on. Like, if you want a banner for your player, then organize something. Get in touch with someone to organize. Like I said, if it was up to me, I would have had a banner for Ziyech. Imagine the abuse I'd cop. Like, oh my God, why do you have a banner for Ziyech? It should be this player before him. Like, I didn't know there was a ranking system for banner. Like, if you want your players to be represented, then reach out to whoever does banners and see if you can gather some momentum to create a banner. It's the club's not doing this. This is a group that's doing it, whether you like it or not. I don't necessarily always like this particular group that created this banner because I've seen some comments I don't appreciate from them. But it is what it is. They've created a banner for Mason Mount, which is a great thing. I don't see the issue around all of this, Jonathan. I mean, have you seen the recent chaos that's been going around in social media about this whole banner situation?
Completely ignored it. This and the FIFA rating scandal. It's something I don't want to waste my time with. We've got much better things than to worry about silly banners, because at the end of the day, they put their hands in their pocket. They pay for these things. Mason Mount, while some people say other players will deserve it first, he's been great for Chelsea. He's been an absolute breath of fresh air. And I wouldn't say, it's biased because he's English. He's a local lad. He's come up through the ranks. But
Jonathan, who
why
cares?
Wouldn't you celebrate
Who cares?
him?
So it is biased.
Exactly.
So who cares?
People take up, or they take up heat, or I'm trying to think of the most polite way of saying they take umbrage with silly crap, because yes, there's only 40,000 in the stadium at a time, or just over 40,000, and the fan base is worldwide, but. Geez, who cares? Honestly, we've got other things to do. And if you want a banner, pay for it yourself and take it. And on the FIFA thing as well, just to touch on that, who cares? It is literally just a game. It is not representation. It's always stupid. So the reason I think it's so in the nose, because it's like FIFA is aimed at younger people. The content is consumed by younger people. That's why it's all talked about, because the market to talk about it is there. And FIFA know that if they do silly things, it's going to get talked about, and the publicity goes through the roof. People are going to buy it and want to moan about it. So, people just like to moan. In a day and age where I'm just grateful to be able to go to Stamford Bridge tomorrow. I don't care if the banner says, Jonathan, we hate you. We don't want you to come back. I don't care. Because I just want to be in the stadium. I'm not going to moan about a banner. So
imagine though, Jonathan, a huge banner waving through, Jonathan, get out of my club. I mean, now that would be a bit crazy.
Yeah, so that's my take on the two things. Taking with a pinch of salt, much more things going on in the world to worry about than this, which is exactly why I haven't spoken about it on Twitter, because I'm not going to waste my time.
100%. I only tweeted out because I saw almost every man and dog out there was tweeting, and I was like, this is ridiculous. And as you said, Jonathan, the ratings, I don't spend any time talking about these rubbish stuff. Like, it means nothing to me, FIFA ratings. I saw a few people commenting on it. Honestly, it does not bother me one bit. I don't get any intellectual comments out of it, discussions out of it, so it doesn't mean anything. Taron, let's now focus on the front three. We'll ask Jonathan for his front three soon. Who you going with? Let's go with up front. Who you going with up front?
He's going to play Werner somewhere, isn't he? You just know it. He's got it in his mind.
And
by the way, for work rate, you'd have 99 on FIFA, Miz, by the way.
I love it.
And Jonathan, facial hair isn't a rating on FIFA, but you have 99 as well.
That's so cute. Oh, that's so kind. I can't wait to meet up tomorrow and get to this game. Honestly, I'm absolutely buzzing for this.
By the way, Taron, you got a bit of facial hair yourself going on, man. It's cute. It's cute. It's not as great as Jonathan's one, but you're getting there.
And Miz, you have the full-grown beard. You're just.
I've got the carpet, man.
He's got the dad beard. He's got the dad beard. We've got a variety here. We cater for all beard lengths and qualities here.
Total C is a very varied community. Okay, we're representing all different kinds of backgrounds and facial hairs. But anyway, onto the front line. And ironically, he actually has a beard. I'm going to go with Romelu Lukaku actually for this game. And I know it is very interesting.
No resting him.
No rest for the wicked. I think. There's a lot of talk that Timo Werner could start up front, and I could have put him in one of the inverted forward positions, but I'm going to go with Lukaku. I want him to start. I want him to continue this momentum that he's building already. Like I said, in the post-match, he did look like he was holding his leg a little bit towards the end of the game. There might have been a slight issue, but like I said as well, there was no talk by Tuchel, by Lukaku in his Sky Sports interview that there was any kind of issue towards the end of the game. So I want him to continue up front. I want him to, like I said, continue the goals, get more confidence, ready for the Spurs game on Sunday, absolutely annihilate Eric Dyer and Joe Rodon, whoever's starting. And I want him to continue this because I feel like he's a guy who wants to play as much as possible. If he's rested, he'll feel a bit, down a bit, not great. But, in terms of the other kind of attacking players in his positions, I'm going to go with Mason Mount. For one of them, he was, rested. He didn't even come off the bench for the game against Villa, which surprised me a little bit. But, he did play a lot of games for England.
He should be fully ready to play this.
And he's someone for me who, I think he wants to play every week as well. He played pretty much every single game in a really tight schedule last year. And I think he must play in this game. And I'm not going to mention the banner again. But the other role is a bit of a debate. We have Ziyech, who I thought he was decent against Villa. Didn't really take his chance as much as I would have wanted. Timo Werner, who I think possibly could start this game. But I'm going with Kai Havertz. I think I'm going to go with him again. And it's controversial. It's a topic that a lot of people can talk about, but he started off the season very well. This front three looked like they were kind of blossoming in the Arsenal game. The Liverpool game was a bit of a stumbling block in that front three. The chances that the when to pass forward, when to release, Havertz or Lukaku. But I think if we build this chemistry up front, for me, this is our most deadly front three in terms of all the abilities we have. We have the skill of Havertz, the movement of Havertz, the pace, the intelligence, the stamina of Mason Mount, the strength and the pure kind of clinical snake finishing of Lukaku. And this is what I want to see brewing. And the only way we can get this front three playing better is putting more games out together as that front three in big state games. They'll develop the connections on the pitch, they'll develop where to go, when to go, where the pass, cross, set back. So yeah, I'm going with that front three, but I want to see Werner off the bench in the 60th minute or something. I think it's disheartening for him. He hasn't been playing many games despite the very, very strong international break for Germany. So yeah, I want to see him off the bench. Maybe Ziyech off the bench and Hudson-Odoi. It's very, very frustrating for me, Hudson-Odoi.
By the way, you know what? Us boys, we need to do a whole segment down the track about Hudson-Odoi. I feel like this is a big, juicy topic. Maybe not as a live stream, but maybe as a pre-recording sometime when we do get... Because I think there's some big debate that's going on about Hudson-Odoi. I think we need to address that. But yeah, that's for another day. Yeah,
for sure. And just to quickly touch on that a little bit, I think every chance he's been given on the pitch, the Villarreal game, the Villa game now, you have to say he's not taking his chances. And it's frustrating to see because we all want him to be the star boy that he was in the Sarri days. We want him to be driving at players, showing confidence. But I still see a guy who's very cautious on the ball. He's not looking forward. He tries to take people on, doesn't have the confidence that he did in 2019. So it's frustrating.
Yeah. You know what, though, Taron? I think this is his position, man. As much as we want him to, at times, get minutes, nonetheless, this position is far more demanding in terms of offense and defense.
Physicality, receiving the ball, possession.
This is where he needs to be playing, but he's not going to get the chance.
It's weird because he got the chance in the Villa game. If you remember, Azpilicueta came on the right wing back, and it was only like 10, 15 minutes, but I still want to see something happening. He received the ball a few times, but Matty Cash always got the better of him in that role. I believe, who was the right wing back? Was it Trezeguet or something? Was always dropping back, making the 2v1s. And he couldn't do anything. And it's frustrating. But every time I want to see him even get 5 minutes for Chelsea, with the competition you have in front of you, you have to do something. And he's kind of playing it easy, in my opinion, right now. He's feeling a bit too comfortable after how Tuchel showed faith in him back when he first came in. He might have got a bit of a head rush, something to be completely kind of, I say, out of the box with that kind of topic. But right now, I don't want to see Hudson-Odoi playing unless it's off the bench, and you have so much competition in front of you. So that's why I go with Kai Havertz. I want to see that front three getting more minutes together, getting more match sharpness together, developing the connections, developing the green links, as we're going to refer to FIFA again in the final third. But that's what I want to see in that front three. But I wouldn't be surprised at all if he starts Timo Werner and the rest of Lukaku.
Yeah, see, before I go to Jonathan, that's the change I would make. I completely agree with your front. I think Mason Mount should be absolutely fit and raring to go. I can't imagine how Mason sits out 2 games not starting. I think he deserved that rest straight after playing 3 games for England. Well-deserved rest against Aston Villa, and we got the 3 points. Job well done. I'm pretty certain he'll come back. Lukaku is just a machine at the moment, needs to continue, just keep banging those goals. And I feel like his maturity, he knows how much energy he exerts every match. He knows how to play himself. He's not just crazy running around. So he's very good in that particular perspective. My only change would be I think Havertz needs a bit of a break. I personally felt he looked tired in that entire game against Aston Villa. And that's because, one, he played for Germany 2 games and he was sick in between. So then he had to back up straight away for Aston Villa. I would like him to get a bit of rest. I feel like someone like Timo Werner, who's shown the attitude, goals as well in the international stage. I know goals against Mickey Mouse teams, but still, nonetheless, goals. You do need to give that, as we've talked about, the team harmony and allow for a player like Werner to come in. I am a bit sad for Ziyech because this is the situation. You play one, you don't play one, you don't create that consistency. He got injured, and once again, he's in the same situation. I know, Taron, you said that Ziyech had a decent game. I personally think he didn't have a really good game. Watching from TV, you obviously watched live. I just thought that there were times he should have come into midfield and helped out. And when he did help out, he ended up losing the ball. Some of his passes were a bit astray. Yes, when Jorginho came on in the second half, he looked a lot more better with Jorginho in and around. But I feel like he's going to miss out in this situation. Jonathan, I'll go to you now. You're front three, man.
No changes from me to the one you've just done. I think Lukaku has to start. I want him to score goals and to score on his return for Chelsea to the Champions League. It will just be a statement for me if he can get a goal or two. He's the sort of guy that just needs confidence, just needs goals. And you've got a proper number 9, a proper striker that's there and scoring. Why take him out? 2 shots on target, 2 goals, like you so rightly tweeted earlier, Miz. Yeah, clinical. You've got to play him. Mount rested, didn't even come on. I think he's got to play. Again, this is probably something that Tuchel's looked at and decided that's going to happen. So I think he's pretty much nailed on. Werner, for me, again, yeah, I think just because of his pace, Lukaku said in his interview about the space that he creates in a game where
that second goal, Jonathan, if you'd noticed, I think it was, let's say that's Azpilicueta and Ziyech was more he. Werner was right there, and Lukaku indicates to Werner to make that run that way. He was actually pointing, go that way. And then Lukaku drifted he. And then obviously that pass came from Aspi, and then Lukaku took the shot from me. I mean, there seems to be some sort of chemistry that's going on there as well. Like that movement that Werner is going to, we keep saying this, the space creator, that creating that space for Werner, for Lukaku. I mean, that's going to be very crucial, right?
100%. As I said, he said it in his interview. I mean, Werner could be known at Chelsea for the guy that helped Lukaku score more goals if he continues it the way he is. But yeah, as I said, having pace, having players that is going to get in between the lines, get in behind the defenders. Zenit are going to, as I say, they've got a bit of a free hit, but if we can get a goal, if we can create some new movement, it's going to be difficult for them. So yeah, I just think Havertz, I wasn't massively impressed from what I saw. Like you said, he had the flu. He was in and out of the Germany team. He came in, didn't have the best game, was subbed around sort of 60, 63 minutes, I think. So yeah, I think that's a sign that maybe just take this, not night off, probably come on as a sub, especially as I said, with the 5 sub rule, we are going to see quite a few players come off the bench. And I think that's where, let's say a Havertz or a Ziyech come on, make an impact, especially with Ziyech. Disappointed as well, in my opinion, from what I saw for Ziyech. And yeah, like you said, Miz, it's just unfortunate now that if you have a bad game, look at Hudson-Odoi. He might not play for 3-4 games now until, well, he might play for the Villa game, but you have to take your chance. And I've said this so many times. When you play, you've got to play almost like your life depended on it. You have to have a positive impact on the game, because Tuchel's got so many options that he's just going to bring in someone else or bring in the starter. And I think that's the front three just for me, just because of what happened at the weekend, just because of the way I think Tuchel's going to go with the side, just to refresh it, keep it competitive, but give it a little bit of a refresh. And that's probably, the front three that I go with. And I think we've got 9 or 10 of these right, in my opinion. Just because of what he said in his conference.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident with this lineup. Ladies and gentlemen, that seems to be the lineup we're going with, and the spammers are on cue into the channel, and I'm trying my level best to block them out. This is the lineup. Kepa in the goalkeeping position, not our preferred first choice, but there is a tweet, which I'll just quickly bring out, that Kepa has tweeted, which kind of gives me that indication he's probably going to start. And then in the back three, we've got Rudiger, Andres Christensen, Azpilicueta in the wing backs, Reece James, Chilwell in the middle, Jorginho, Sarr with Kante still not ready, and Kovacic having played so much and he needs to play against Spurs. And up front, we've got Timo Werner, Mount, and Lukaku. Just quickly, boys, go to you, Jonathan, first up. Score prediction.
3-0, I'm going to say. I know we've had 2 3-0s this season. We've been a lot more clinical this season under Tuchel. And I even said it over the weekend that the main difference between this year and last year is that we are going to score goals. I think there's certainly going to be chances. And I think we're going to take them, especially if Lukaku starts. So yeah, maybe it's a predictable score prediction, but yeah, I think 3-0, 2-0, 3-0 for me. So yeah, I'm going to stick with that. I think clean sheet is important. Just to continue our good run of form, because with Mendy in goal, we've been so good at keeping out goals. All my friends in my group chat that I've got are all different fans of different teams. They've said to me, look, since Tuchel's come in, you've just been phenomenal defensively. Other than a couple of games where there's been a bit of a blip, it's just been incredible how he's turned it around. And, they expect a clean sheet. They're telling him about fantasy football, not going to put him in because he's playing against Chelsea. Because now, fans are looking at us and seeing how good we are defensively and expecting us to keep clean sheets. So, yeah, that's what I'm going to go for. 3-0. Game under the lights. Champions League is back. I haven't been for sort of more than 2 years for a Champions League game. So, absolutely buzzing for this. We're both in the training tops, but we're certainly going to be match fit tomorrow watching at the stand.
I love it. Ralph Lauren, you're right. I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean that Kepa will start, but we're just thinking that, why would you tweet that? I mean, he could very well not start, but then his tweet's going to look very, very silly. But yeah, Taron, Jonathan's going with a 3-0, 2-0. I'm thinking about a clean sheet as well. I'm thinking 3-0 here. No disrespect to Zenit, but I think we should have too much firepower, even with the rotation that we're going to have. I'm going with 3-0 again. Possibly Lukaku into the score sheet. Timo Werner, we've put him there. Hopefully he's going to be in the score sheet. And maybe a goal from one of the defenders. Who knows? Or maybe just a double from Lukaku and a goal from Werner. What's your score prediction, my man?
Yeah, I think 3-0 was probably the safest, I'll say, score prediction to do. I don't really predict us to concede a goal to Zenit. I know I've mentioned Artem Zuba and Malcolm, a few other players. Yeah, big up Callum. Thanks for tuning into the stream. Glad you enjoyed. But yeah, I think it will be 4-0, and I'm going to go with a bit of a bold statement. A lot of people are saying 4-1, stuff like this, but I think 4-0. I'm predicting Lukaku again to get on the score sheet. Mason Mount, I think, will get on the score sheet as well. Depends the other two goals going for. I'm not really sure. Maybe a header from Rudiger and Lukaku to score again. So Lukaku double, Rudiger and Mason Mount to get on the score sheet. 4-0. Very, very comfortable win for Chelsea. Let's see this quote that Jonathan's put up. They were the best team last season. They don't have any weak points. Yeah, exactly. That is 100%. The epitome of Chelsea summed up. It's a great quote, and it looks like they're going to respect us. They're going to be up to the challenge. But I think, like you said, it is a free hit. They don't really have anything to lose right now. They just have to go out, form their best, and win the game. But like Jonathan said, we'll be there at the game tomorrow. It's going to be great fun to go to the game. Jonathan did say we're sitting in the East Stand. That's wrong. We're sitting in the West Stand tomorrow, Jonathan. Need to check the tickets. And
we're in so many different stands. That's the thing. I'm known as a ticket guru, by the way. I gave myself that nickname today. I'm just trying to get us different views, different angles. So that's why I'm just trying to go around the stadium. We'll be sitting in behind the goals in even the shed or the Matthew Harding zone, just to give different angles, because you get a different feel of a stadium when you're in with different fans and different parts of the stands, the stadium. So yeah, it'll be interesting. Yeah, exactly. And the reason I put that there is because look, they know they're in for a game, and the reason I'm saying 3-0 is because I expect Chelsea to live up to the favourites tag for this game, to turn up, to put goals past them, and to start this group off with a bang. And I can 100%. Still get through all the spammers, so stop spammers, because
my God, so many.
It's just ridiculous, man. Honestly, I
need to put slow mode on. So that
another one.
I'm trying to find where I just can't locate where the settings for that slow mode. I need to reach out to Matisse. But ladies and gentlemen, that pretty much wraps it up. The boys will be there in the Zenit game, as Jonathan said. He's the guru, the ticket guru. He's been doing fantastically well to get some of these brilliant, tickets for cheap as well. So we've got a lot of games that are coming up in recent times that you guys are going to enjoy. So tomorrow, do log in pre-match 1 hour before the game starts. We'll have the pre-match show. The boys hopefully will be there straight from the stadium. Ishan will be here. We'll be talking about the lineup, and we'll get the vibe from the boys from the stadium. Then Ishan and I will continue with the watch along. The boys will hopefully join us half-time, give their perspective. And then post-match, we'll do the review, and hopefully you guys have a fantastic event for the first Champions League game together. So hope you guys have enjoyed this. Smash the like button before you go. Only about 26 likes away from 100 likes, which would be great to get in this particular stream. And check out the boys and their socials in the description right now. And also, if you're here for the first time, subscribe. We are running towards 8,000 subscribers, which is going to be great for this channel. So yeah, until next time, everyone, these spammers are having a laugh at the moment. Catch you guys later.